Hey there, busy kids. Welcome to a special bonus lesson. In this lesson, which is going to be broken down into 3 parts, we're going to learn to play the song by Billie Eilish, What Was I Made For? The song won an Academy Award for the Best Song of the Year from a film, and it's got a really beautiful, simple melody, and so I hope you enjoy learning it. The most complicated part of this song is the rhythm, and we're going to go over that in more detail. We're just learning a portion of the song. We're not going to learn all of the song. We're going to just learn a couple of the verses and one of the bridges, and you can experiment around with it if you want to make it into the full version of the song. The melody itself is simple in that the notes are repetitive. However, the rhythm is complicated, and that's what I want to go over with you today in great detail for the first part here. We're going to be working on page 1 and 2 up through where she starts the bridge, because that's in measure 21, the pickup to measure 21. So we're going to go through measures 1 through 19 today in this lesson. So I don't want to get too bogged down in the rhythm of this piece. The rhythm is challenging, yes. However, with these songs that are radio songs or songs that are familiar to you, chances are you're not going to be counting 1 eanda, 2 eanda, 3 eanda, going on and on with the counts. You're going to be using the words, and you're going to be using what you know because you're familiar with the song. So I'm not going to analyze all of the rhythms, but I do just want to go over it with the first page so you can kind of see how the rhythm is a little bit difficult and how the beats fall here, because there's definitely some syncopated rhythms, and the rhythm is really important in this piece of music because it is an unusual rhythm. It's not just a really straightforward blocked rhythm where we have the words coming in on beats 1, 2, 3, and 4, right? Like we do in a lot of pop songs. So I want to start here on measure 4. We're looking at, if we were to write out the counts, it would look like this: 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then we hold for beat 1 of the next measure. So if we were to tap and count that, it would go like this: 1, 2, 3, and 4, and a hold 2. Okay, so let's try doing that together, clapping and counting. Ready, go. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and a hold. Okay, when I play that, it sounds like this: 1, 2, 3, and 4, and a hold 2. All right, so you can also say the words if it helps you. I could count 1, 2, I used to float. That might be a little bit easier. If you have a nice singing voice, you can sing it too. Okay, now let's look at this next part here. The tied notes are really important too, because we hold those, but we don't play another beat. She's not singing words on those tied beats. Okay, so here we have 1, rest, 2, 3, and 4, and hold, and. Okay, and so this is going to sound like this: now I just fall down, because I'm holding the fall for this tied note here. Okay, so if I go rest, 3, and 4, and hold, and. Okay, let's try just clapping from the rest. You'll be silent, obviously, but let's try saying it from here. Ready, go, rest, 3, and 4, and hold, and. It's a little tricky. Okay, let's try counting that together from the 3. Ready, go, 3, and 4, and 1, and 2. Let's try it again. Ready, go, 3, and 4, and 1, and 2. Okay, and then in here, if we were to write out these counts, again, it gets complicated when we start writing it out. So not a big deal if you don't want to write out the counts. If you just want to learn it by rote, what's familiar to you by ear, that's fine. So we have 1, but I'm crossing that out because I'm not playing anything there, I'm holding it. And then my rest is 2, and. This 8th note is 3, and 4, and So it's tricky again. And then this is held here because we have a tied note. So it's hold and rest, 3 and 4 and okay? It's gonna sound like this. I'm gonna start from the now I just fall down so you can see how it will sound from here to here. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and okay? So let's try just counting that while I'm playing it. Ready, go. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and yep, and I messed that up a little bit, so let's try that again. Ready, go. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and so if we're saying the words there, it's I used to know, I used to know. Okay, and that's how that rhythm's going to go there. We'll go over how to play this in a minute, but I just want you to get familiar with watching these rhythms here. And then let's just go over this line for the final part where we'll really get in deep in the weeds with the rhythm here. We have that hold, that tied note here on beat 1, rest on beat 2. Okay, and then we have a 16th note into a dotted 8th note. So this is quickly 3E and 4 and, okay? 3E and 4 and. But I'm not sure. That's how it sounds. But I'm not sure now. Okay? So let's try just counting from the but I'm not sure to the now. Okay? It's going to sound like this. 3E and 4 and 1 and 2. A lot going on there. Let's try counting it again. Ready? Go. 3E and 4 and 1 and 2. Okay? Don't worry about playing it right now. We're just going over the rhythm. Then we have the same idea here. We have this quick 16th note into the dotted 8th note. So 3E and 4 and hold and 2 and. So if I'm writing it down, it's 3E and 4 and 1 and 2 and. So with lots of syncopation here, I'm playing this note on the and. Okay, it will sound like this. 3E and 4 and 1 and 2. What was I made for? Okay, and that's how that will be counted. So like I said, these rhythms are complicated, but just listen to the song and play what you're hearing. Don't get too in the weeds with the rhythm here, okay? All right, let's go ahead and try these rhythms in this first part on the piano. The other thing that's really nice about these chord shapes, in addition to the fact that you're just moving between those 3 chord shapes, is it's very straightforward rhythm-wise. If you look at the left hand throughout the piece, it's playing mostly half notes and whole notes, okay? So even though the right hand's kind of doing this fancy dance all around it with different rhythms, the left hand is pretty straightforward. So you can kind of use it almost as your metronome and make sure you're fitting the right hand correctly with the left hand, okay? So if you look at measure 4, 1, 2, I'm here, and then I used to float, and then I'm gonna play this on beat 1, the left hand on beat 1. 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and. And so it kind of helps, I think. I feel like it's easier to play the right hand accurately when my left hand's in here keeping time with that half note and the whole note, okay? It almost divides up the rhythms for you. So hopefully that helps you a little bit too. It's just very important to make sure that you're not playing the rhythms, that they're lining up correctly, okay? So like for example, on the I used to float, left hand comes in its own on beat 1. 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. So see how this came in on beat 1, and then the right hand is the syncopated hand. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and a 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I have to be very mindful of making sure the left hand's coming in on the beats and paying attention to the syncopation of the right hand, okay? So if you'd like to go ahead, you can pause the video and work on that from the I used to float through the words, but I'm not sure now, okay? Pause the video, try it on your own, hands together, and then press play. All right, let's look at the what was I made for hands together. We're doing the same chord shapes in the left hand. Okay, and remember, I'm lifting the pedal with each time I change chord shapes. So it's what was I made. This comes on the beat 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. And that's how that fits together there. Okay, so pause the video, try the what was I made for, right hand and left hand together through the end of this first page, and then press play. All right, just a little bit more until we're done with this first section. Okay, it's going to be similar as far as rhythm goes and where the left hand goes and all of that, and we're just repeating up here. We crossed over, remember, for the what was I made for. And now we go back up to where we started with finger 4 on the B, taking a drive. 1, 2, I was an ideal, looked so alive, rest. Turns out I'm not real. And then you're gonna cross over with finger 2 for just something you paid for. And again, just paying attention to which notes need to be tied, which notes are fast, those 16th notes. And again, if you want to, you can write in the counting, or you can just play this by rote, by listening and playing it based on what you're listening to. Okay, so I'm gonna start on measure 13. Why don't we try playing it together and just see how you do if your rhythm matches mine, okay? Ready, go. 1, 2, I was an I. 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. How did you do? Do your rhythms match up with mine when you played, or were you playing something different? Okay, if you need to pause and run through that part, running through, isolating anything that you need to fix the rhythm, go ahead and do that. Our left hand's gonna be straightforward. Now, again, we're just moving between those chord shapes. So we have the 5th, the 6th, the 6th, the 5th, the 6th, the 6th. Now, what I want you to be careful of, in measure 19, you might wanna circle that left hand here because our order switches. Okay, you're going to repeat this 6th, so it's a C to an A. We're not moving back down to the 5th, and you're going to move between the 2 6ths shapes. Okay, and then we'll get into the part that we'll learn in the next lesson video. So I just want to highlight that measure 19, your left hand pattern changes a little bit. Familiar chords, but the order changes. Okay. As far as it just is keeping that same like straightforward half note, whole note rhythm, and then we just need to make sure we're lining up the right hand and the left hand correctly. So if you look at I was an ideal, they come in together on beat 3, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. That's how it sounds when you put the hands together. Again, I change my pedal every time I shift the left hand. So pause the video, see if you can put measure 13 through measure 20. Don't play the pickup into the next section. That'll be in the next lesson video, but just try putting that little section hands together and then press play. All right, you've worked through this whole first section, measures 1 through 20. We're going to pick up for part 2 in the next lesson video with the pickup on measure 20, and then we're going to play through measure 32 in the next lesson video for part 2. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and play measures 1 through 20 for you. just so you can hear how it's going to sound when you've had a chance to practice. One thing I do want to point out is that I'm playing the introduction nice and softly, and then when I come in with the melody where she's singing, Billie Eilish is singing, I'm going to bring the melody out a little bit more, okay? Here is the beginning of What Was I Made For?